those words. I wanted to say one more thing. My battery is dead on my cell phone already, so I'm not going to have to do everything. Everybody been part of the invite. If you could post your pictures in there so that we can all share them. We're asking that everybody use the hashtag Black Lives Matter SPI. Somebody just suggested that, so otherwise I would have put it in the group site on there. So I think it's a good idea. It's a way for us to easily find the pictures. Okay, is that better? Thank you. Sorry guys, I'm not used to talking so loud. I've never addressed a crowd before. I'm asking, my battery's about dead. I'm asking that everybody that takes pictures, since I'm going to run out soon, if you could post in the event page on Facebook and on your social media all the pictures from today so we can all have access to them, and use the hashtag Black Lives Matter SBI. Someone just suggested it a minute ago, so I apologize. I didn't put it in the group for everybody to know ahead of time, but if you could do that or start doing that, and for those of you that are posting already, I'd appreciate it. Next, we're going to have Jim Dixon from Faith Coalition come and addressing the crowd, so give him a warm welcome.
Good morning. Can you hear me with this? Just get loud, right? That's what I do. I'm going to use my union voice. In addition to being the Vice President of Faith Coalition for the Common Good, I'm also the President of the AFL-CIO Springfield and Central Illinois Trades and Labor Council, representing more than 30,000 union members in Central Illinois. You know, right across the street, most people don't know, is a statue of Dr. Martin Luther King. And I invite you, after you're done today, to walk over there to what's called Freedom Square and read the words on the plaque. And as you read the words on the plaque, you'll understand that what's written there is not true. We have not had the change we need to have. People say don't talk about race because it will divide us. I say we must talk about race because we are divided.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people don't know our history. White people did not exist prior to 1681. The colonies of America were populated by three groups of people: the white landowners, the enslaved people of color, and white people who were here as indentured servants who were enslaved for a period of time that was predetermined. These indentured servants had a time limit when they came from Europe. They say, you're going to do what we want you to do for a certain number of years. And then what happened was these rich white landowners, who were the only people who could vote, because see, at that time we didn't let people of color vote, and we sure did not let women vote. These rulers of this country needed more labor because they didn't have enough enslaved people of color to take care of all the tobacco fields. And at that time, the indentured servants and the black enslaved people had been living together. We sat together, we ate together, we were our neighbors, we were brothers and sisters in community. And so in order to get more power, what they started doing, the white landowners, they started extending the period of time for the indentured servants. So if you stubbed your toe when you were here for 7 years, now you're here as an indentured servant for 10 years. And so the working people, the enslaved blacks and the indentured servants, got together and they did what was called Bacon's Rebellion. And they rebelled against the 1% power white of America at that time. And that's when we started seeing laws that talked about white. Because the owners understood that the only way they could have power was to divide us and make us other. We had to be other in some form or another. And that's what started such a big divide in this country among working people. And it's been going on forever. You know, if you want to do a little reading, I encourage you to go online and look at the Haas Institute and look at some of the work that John A. Powell has done on racing to justice. It's time to understand that we've been divided on purpose. And this continues today. We are a country that has 25% of the world's prison population. 25% of the world's population. 60% of the people in our country are people of color. 1 in 15 black men and 1 of every 36 Latino men are incarcerated, compared to 1 in every 106 white men. 80% of the drug users in our country are white. 20% of the drug users in our country are black, people of color. Only 20% of white drug users go to prison or jail for drug-related crimes. 80% of people of color who use drugs go to prison or jail for drug-related crimes. And we wonder why people are obsessed with drug. We have to have some change in America. We have these dominant narratives, and I encourage you all to think about some of the dominant narratives you hear and ask yourself, can this be true? One of them is, if you work hard, anyone can get ahead. And let's face facts, we know that's not true. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. It is physically impossible to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Try it someday. And when you get up off of the floor from busting your nose, go get some clean air. We had some bills, some legislation in this country that were not intentionally racist, but have had a lasting racist impact in our country. And one of them was the GI Bill. I'm a veteran. We all love veterans. But we have to understand that back when the GI Bill was started after World War II, that the majority of veterans were white males. And those were the people who got a hand up to go to college. And when they got a hand up to go to college, this law, not intentionally racist, had a racist effect. Because if I go to college, I'm now a manager. I'm now a boss type. I now make more money. I now have more of a chance to get ahead than women, who were a minority in the war, and a minority of veterans at that time, and people of color, who were at that time also a minority. We created laws in this country to give housing to people. And in that housing, we specified that you could not live in certain subdivisions if you were of color. So we created racial pockets across this country so that we divided each other with our laws. We're going to have to change the system, folks. Now, most people here today will tell you they're not racist. And to most of us, to be racist says you make a racist statement. I'm going to challenge you again. This afternoon, go on your computer and look up implicit bias. Implicit bias. And begin to understand that each and every one of us, whether we're black or we're white or Latino, has a certain amount of bias. Look up implicit bias. Take that test. I challenge you to take that test and become informed yourself. I want to talk a little bit about dog whistle politics. I don't know how many people know what a dog whistle is. But a dog whistle is a little whistle that you blow, and the only person that hears, well, not a person, but the only thing that hears it is your dog. And that's how you train dogs. And they automatically, after they're trained, react to a dog whistle. And we got a heck of a lot of dog whistle politics going on in this country today. We do. We have blatant racist comments from certain people, who I won't bother to name because you know who they are. But we had right here in this building a short few days ago a governor who stood here and said, we cannot bail out Chicago schools. He's still going around saying, we cannot bail out Chicago schools, downstate taxpayers. And what is he saying? The dog whistle message of that is that hard-working white people downstate should not bear a tax to help bail out our brothers and sisters in Chicago. Because they're lazy moochers. That's what dog whistle politics is. And I invite you to start watching and listening when you hear these comments and challenge them. And don't fall for the dog whistle. We have structural racism in this country. Like I said, there are laws out here that blatantly affect how this country operates. And we have to change this. We have to have some deep conversations about race. And with the Faith Coalition, we've done that in several congregations already in Springfield. From our sister organization in St. Louis, where the Black Lives Matter signs come from, a curriculum called Sacred Conversations on Race and then Action. We've had 4 congregations, 2 white, 2 black, that we've gone through this curriculum with. And let me tell you, this curriculum comes out of Ferguson, and it challenges you to understand who you are as a person, and it helps you to start to bridge that gap, to become a different person, a better person than you are today. So I encourage you to sign up. Faith Coalition is also doing some other things in Springfield. We have a jobs task force because we're concerned about good jobs for people, not jobs that pay minimum wage, but better than minimum wage, living wage. We have an education task force because we're concerned about every child having an opportunity for a good education. We have a restorative justice task force because we want to be sure that we make some changes in how people live in this community and that they're not criminalized. We have an immigration task force where we work with people who are here, like my grandfather came when he was 17 from Czechoslovakia, for a better life. And let me tell you what, no immigrant comes here without a hard process of thinking and considering what they're going to do. Because when my grandfather came here at age 17, he never ever saw his mom, his dad, his brothers or sisters again. This is not, I'll get in the car and go down the street like we get to come here today. So I'm going to challenge you to help us change the system. We've got sign-up sheets over there. If you're interested, we'll talk to you some more later about it, but I want to challenge you for that. I'm 68. I'll be 69 in September. I've been doing this stuff for a long time. We've got to make change. We cannot stand and do rallies. This shirt I wear today, I wore this shirt in St. Louis when we had a march for Michael Brown. We're still killing young black boys.
Man.
We're still killing. And it's got to stop. And we got to quit fighting each other. We have to sit down. We have to do the hard work. We have to commit personally to being willing to go into the room and sit down and have the uncomfortable conversations and not leave. Thank you.